Henry from Beyond Staff here. Actually, today isn't really going to be a product showcase kind of video. It's like just a few suggestions for fun things you could do whilst out in your Jimny, really. You know, when you drive a Jimny or any car, if you can really feel those little changes, it just makes you more interested in cars, I suppose. And I think your enjoyment will increase a great deal. This is the easiest thing to do. Well, even if it is easy, it is tricky without a machine, but the machine itself is always available if you go to a petrol station, so it is quite easy. Perhaps you already own the equipment yourself and are able to inflate the tires. Alternatively, if you happen to have a compact portable air pump in your car, then I reckon you could manage it quite easily yourself. As to what that is, it is tire pressure. When we're out on the circuit and such, you know, tire pressure really is a massive factor for us. It's just so important. For example, point 1, point 2, point 3, just that can change the lap time significantly. It's very interesting to tweak it, and basically it costs no money, and it brings noticeable changes. I think maybe trying it on a Jimny could be quite fun. Originally, the genuine stock setup itself, I might not be completely accurate here though. For a JB64 in factory spec, the front tire pressure is front 1.6, and the rear is 1.8, and the rear is 1.8. For the JB74, factory is 1.8 all round, I think. I do get the feeling that the tire pressure is surprisingly low actually. So even with factory specs, for instance 1.6, try changing the front 1.6 to 2. Or maybe put more to make it 2.22. I really think the front end change will show. I think it's quite interesting. Once you start to notice those real changes, it becomes even more fun. So I think tweaking the tire pressure a little could be quite interesting. In our experience with these tires, the factory recommended 1.6 pressure is just a bit too low, so we find it's not quite enough. When we usually pump them around here, well, there might be right or wrong answers. We usually put in about 2.2 kilos of tire pressure. At 2.2, it might actually be a bit too firm, feeling rather bumpy when you hit uneven surfaces. In cases like that, you could try changing a 2.2 to a 2, or if you feel like you want a bit more tension, try setting it to 2.4. Like this, I think you can play around quite a lot with the tires. Or if you go off-road, I believe off-road drivers tend to drop their tire pressure. So when going to those off-road places, I usually went with 2.2. When you get to places like a forest track and you drop it right down to about 1.88, actually the tire's grip pressure, or just the grip, might change quite a bit, so I'd recommend it. However, heading home on 1.8 is a bit worrying, so you'd use a petrol station for the correct amount, like 2 kilos or 2.2. Before heading back. With that in mind, you can easily try it out and enjoy the noticeable changes. So as Bayonne staff, it might be something we'd recommend. Also, the weather's getting a bit warmer soon, so I really think tire pressure will become more and more vital, you know? Keeping that in mind, it was a suggestion that playing around with tire pressure could be interesting. Also, it's a bit unrelated to the products, but if we come up with any more suggestions for fun things to see, try out like this, we'll be sure to introduce them in our future videos. If you liked it, I'd be delighted if you subscribe and leave a like. Thank you very much for watching.